Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today is League Rotation Day. The Great League has come and gone, and now the Ultra League has arrived. This is the first time we've seen the Ultra League in the Season 24 meta for GO Battle League. So honestly, I'm not quite sure what to expect. Today I'm going to be putting together a team, stepping into uncharted waters in this new Ultra League meta, and seeing if we can figure it out. The team I'm going to be running today is my new XL Corviknight with Air Cutter and Payback, Regidrago as the closer with its reworked Dragon Breath, Dragon Energy, and Hyper Beam, and Runerigus as the safe switch. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's go Regidrago. Hopping into the first match, picking up a slightly negative lead, leading Corviknight into Togekiss. This is a very neutral matchup, but unless you get a boost on the first Air Cutter, then typically Togekiss is going to narrowly win the evens. However, this is a calculated gamble with this team, as if I'm able to get the Togekiss very, very low, then my Regidrago should hopefully be free to nuke things in the back. My opponent is going to be firing off an Aura Sphere, and I'm very comfortable absorbing this damage and is looking to connect with another Air Cutter. My opponent is going to time their catch perfectly, switching out and catching the Air Cutter onto Steelix. I really want this energy for later, so I rebank the Air Cutter, and I have a great response to Thunderfang Steelix as in comes Runerigus. I'm not going to be shielding whatever they throw. Opponent is going to go for a Psychic Fangs. So either their Psychic Fangs Breaking Swipe or probably Psychic Fangs Earthquake. Shadow Ball will connect. That's some nice damage onto the Steelix. Due to the energy head start that I gave the Steelix, this is enough for an Earthquake, but even at -1 defense, Runerigus is very, very bulky. I'm going to overfarm with the Runerigus. I want to exit pretty close to the Rock Tomb. Shadow Ball is going to pick up the knockout. Back in comes Togekiss. Togekiss immediately under pressure from a Rock Tomb. They're going to have to shield this, and when they do, I can snipe with the move that I banked on Corviknight. So I switch, throw one Sand Attack and the Air Cutter. That's going to grab the final shield. In the back is Belly Bolt. I can't get to a payback, but I can make a last second move. Air Cutter is not going to do much damage, but now it's the Regidrago show. Regidrago going to be hit with a Parabolic Charge right off the bat. Parabolic Charge never going to do a lot of damage, but what it does do is ramp up Belly Bolt's attack more and more and more. I still have 2 shields to hide behind. I'm still not going to use them here. I know to win this game, I'm going to have to Hyper Beam the Togekiss. So I'm going to be firing off this Dragon Energy. That's going to land. And then when my opponent gets to the move, I send in the Runerigus to get the catch. This allows me to preserve the shield for the Regidrago. In comes Togekiss, and now it's time. Regidrago going for the Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam picks up the knockout. In comes Belly Bolt. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We pick up a great lead in the next match, leading Corviknight into Regidrago. Oh no! And unfortunately, we are just completely hard countering our opponent in game number 2. They save switch a Registeel, and Runerigus is the hardest counter to Registeel in the entire game. Zap Cannon, double resisted. Focus Blast, double resisted. Unfortunately for our good friend Registeel, there's just nothing it can really do here. Registeel will spam out these Zap Cannons, hoping for a debuff, trying to stall the switch timer. The switch timer's up. I bank so much energy, and now bring in Corviknight. Even giving their Regidrago a pretty significant energy head start does not matter here, as unfortunately for Regidrago, it just has such a dominatingly poor matchup. As Corviknight will connect with the payback, that's big damage onto that Regidrago. Regidrago can go for another Dragon Energy, and it's just not going to be a problem. Corviknight shaking off that damage. Corviknight now going to try and get to the payback, able to outpace the Dragon Energy, but not by much. Corviknight's payback is going to connect. Down goes Regidrago. In the back, they have Talonflame. I throw a few Sand Attacks and then snipe with the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to be shielded, but now my opponent is in a bind. They can't really switch a Registeel into this Runerigus. They're forced to stay in, but they're forced to burn both shields in the process, and Runerigus will be able to withstand the Incinerates and make it to another Rock Tomb. They go for the Flame Charge. It's not going to be enough. In comes Registeel. I will get to a Shadow Ball into the Registeel. Shadow Ball lands, getting Registeel low. Registeel is going to get farmed down, and now Regidrago is on cleanup duty in the end game. Regidrago will get to the Dragon Energy. This is big damage into the Talonflame. All shields are down for the opponent. That connects. We farm down. Unfortunately for my opponent, that was about the most hard counter game that could ever exist. We pick up a great lead in the next match, leading Corviknight into Shadow Scizor. My opponent safe switches into Jellicent, and so far they are pretty soft to a Corviknight lead. Surf will land, my opponent valuing getting some chip damage onto the Corviknight before I switch out, knowing I'm probably staying in to go for the payback. But I'm honestly not super weak to Scizor in the back. Even if I end up with Regidrago on it, if I can get energy and shields are down, I can still inflict a lot of resisted damage. They go for another Surf. I'm going to be firing off another payback. Are they really willing to give me both their shields? The answer is no. I'm more than happy to stay in with the Corviknight, force them to throw a third Surf, and then just look for farm with Runerigus. In comes Runerigus. My opponent is going to pivot. In the back is Gastrodon. I bank all this energy and switch into Regidrago because Gastrodons, I'm expecting, are going to be running Water Pulse now. I think Earth Power might honestly still be the play in Ultra for matchups like these, because if you're stuck on Water Pulse Body Slam and you're going up against the Dragon, suddenly you don't have the charge move pressure that you used to. Here, I will get to the Hyper Beam on charge attack priority. Do they respect the damage? They do! No, they shield the Hyper Beam. We're gonna win the game, but it honestly feels like a defeat. Seeing our Hyper Beam get shielded, that is just devastating to the morale. They're going to be sending in Scizor to a loaded Shadow Ball. Scizor survives, but not by much. At this point, things look so dire for my opponent as I can farm them down. If they bring the Gastrodon, I have a ton of energy, and I'm pretty sure I can just farm the Jellicent if that's what they decide to bring in. They're going to bring out the Gastrodon, and I'm going straight for the Shadow Ball. Let's get some damage onto my opponent. Shadow Ball is going to connect. Gastrodon will make a Body Slam, but I'm not going to let that land. Even though Body Slam wouldn't KO the Runerigus, let's catch it anyway. So we get the catch. In comes Jellicent. I have another Shadow Ball loaded, so I may as well fire it off. Shadow Ball lands, picking up the knockout. In comes Gastrodon. One Shadow Claw picks up the KO, and we're able to take the win. Corviknight into Gastrodon, a very nice lead in the next match. My opponent is staying in this matchup. Now, this is a matchup where having Water Pulse is going to help out the Gastrodon. Gastrodon farming up past the Water Pulse quite significantly. I just want damage, so I full send the payback. It's going to land, and that's going to be getting some very sizable damage as it puts Gastrodon into the yellow. Gastrodon will get to a second Water Pulse before I'm able to get my move. They try for a catch onto Tinkaton. I bank energy, and I send out Runerigus. I'm incredibly happy to see Tinkaton while I still have my Runerigus around, because obviously my poor Regidrago doesn't have anything it can do. It is the coverage move of Hyper Beam, but what's Hyper Beam going to do into a Steel type? So I fire off the Shadow Ball, that's going to land, and I will need to put up a shield. So I'm going to be shielding. The thing I have to watch for is the Gastrodon does have a move banked, and they CMP sack swap. Oh my goodness, what a play. Unfortunately, I don't really think I had a better option here because I do need to get rid of the Gastrodon, but my oh my, that was a great play from them, and now I'm down 2 shields. I have to hope Regidrago can do well in the back. I need it to be a type advantage, but it's a type disadvantage as Togekiss hits the field, and this is just absolutely awful. They have a 2-shield Togekiss, I have a Regidrago. I don't know if there's a way out. My opponent is going to send out Tinkaton. At the very least, I will get to knock out the Tinkaton with a Shadow Ball, but my oh my, this looks absolutely dismal. In comes Togekiss, there's a quick switch to Corviknight, and I will go for the Air Cutter. Air Cutter will connect. They will fire off an Aura Sphere. They have so much energy banked. I'm just going to undertap the Air Cutter here because I need to try and get whatever damage that I can. Air Cutter into the Togekiss will be shielded. Can I make another move? I can. So now this Togekiss is going to be deep into the red, but unfortunately, I'm going to get farmed down here. It looks like I'm going to need a catch. I predict they're going to do 1 and throw, so I switch in the Regidrago, but they just throw instantly. I predict they're going to 1 and throw again, and they just throw back to back, and unfortunately we go 0 for 2 on predicting when they would throw their moves, and that's going to cost me as Runerigus is just not healthy enough, and we lose to the Double Fairy backline. Very bad lead in the next match, Corviknight into Thundershock Belly Bolt. The safe switch into Runerigus. Opponent gives me a sizable energy head start before sending out Regidrago, and this is absolutely a matchup that I can flip with Runerigus. I Rock Tomb first, making sure that suddenly their attacks feel a lot less threatening. I know that a second Rock Tomb will not put them in farm down range, and my opponent will actually be able to force a shield off of me. So I'm going to guarantee the knockout with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does get shielded, so my opponent is really valuing switch advantage. I definitely should have gone for the Rock Tomb in hindsight, but in the moment, I was thinking they may try and prioritize trying to get a shield advantage. I'm going to be shielding up now, firing off this Rock Tomb, but I have lost a lot of health on my Runerigus. This is the rank 2 Runerigus. It's very hard to get a better Runerigus than this. Can I get the farm down? It's going to be very, very close. I decide not to risk it. I didn't want to risk it. I know I can win switch if I just throw the Rock Tomb, so I throw the Rock Tomb, and by the narrowest of margins, we escape with alignment. And alignment is going to be very helpful. In comes Belly Bolt. I send in Regidrago. Belly Bolt is going to farm up to the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon is resisted, but it's a very powerful move. Zap Cannon is going to land. In the back is Corviknight. Switch advantage was everything. I absolutely had to win switch because my Regidrago couldn't do anything into the Corviknight, but now I'm down energy in a Corviknight mirror. And it's not like I can stay in and throw the Dragon Energy because that would desync the switch timers, allowing the Thundershock Belly Bolt to snipe me down later. So now I'm down energy in a mirror. The good news is in the Ultra League, 2 paybacks do not KO in the mirror. I have a ton of stored energy on the Regidrago, which can help deal with that Belly Bolt. I just have to watch for a catch. There is the catch attempt. I send in Regidrago, and I get to the Hyper Beam. This will do more damage than a Dragon Energy. Hyper Beam is gonna land. They desperately need to get to the Zap Cannon, and they do not get there. Back in comes Corviknight. I make it to the Dragon Energy, and now they're in payback range. The biggest problem for my opponent is I am not in Air Cutter range. If they throw the Air Cutter, I can survive and make another Dragon Energy. They are forced to throw the payback, and the moment they do, they lose the game, as I can bring in my own Corviknight, fire off my payback, KO their Corviknight, and escape after a nightmare lead, leading into Thundershock Belly Bolt. We pick up a very bad lead in the next match, leading Corviknight into Credilli. Credilli's ability to just spam debuffs makes life very difficult for Corviknight in this matchup. So if you do end up running into a Credilli lead, I don't necessarily have an amazing way of playing out of it yet. The current plan was trying to soft lose it in the zeros and go for farm on something in the back. With that -1 payback landing, it's pretty evident how Credilli's able to win this matchup. Credilli just simply outpaces. And unfortunately, outpacing means that they're able to 3-shot with the Rock Tombs, and I'm unable to get to a third payback, as a third payback could KO, but I just simply cannot get there. I should survive this move on like 1 HP. I decide to aggressively pivot into the Runerigus. I'm making an aggressive play. They are at enough for the Grass Knot, and I shield, but the moment I click shield, I know it's the Rock Tomb. It is the Rock Tomb, and out comes Regidrago. This is bad news for me, because I am now debuffed. I'm down a shield. I shielded a resisted move. Obviously, it could have been a super effective Grass Knot, but I think just staying in and going for farm on my Regidrago was probably a better play, because now I'm in quite a lot of trouble. I send in my own Regidrago, forgetting the fact that Dragon Breath doesn't have the same farm ability in the mirror, so they can just stay in and get to a Dragon Energy if they want to, but in the back, it's just going to be Corviknight, and I definitely misplayed this game. I think if I could play this match over again, then I would basically end up sacking the Corviknight in the lead, go for farm on Regidrago, and then endgame, try and leverage a small energy head start on Runerigus to take home the win. This particular comp, I think, is going to be difficult no matter what. I switch into the Runerigus. We end up CMP tying the Corviknight here as I fire off the Rock Tomb. Corviknight is going to be launching a debuffed move, just the Air Cutter, will not KO. In comes Regidrago, and now I'm going to go for an Undercharge. Undercharge is going to leave them exactly at 1 HP. I stop tapping, trying to force a simul, but they end up throwing a move. Maybe there's actually a chance. Oh my goodness, with that Undercharge, I have a lot of energy. I'm going to need a CMP sack swap if I want a chance to win this game. This is going to be a tough one. I fire off Dragon Energy. That's going to be shielded. I continue to farm up. The switch to Corviknight. Did I get it? That's what this game comes down to. Did I get the CMP sack swap? I did not, and unfortunately, we lose this game because they can just get to an Air Cutter and take home the win. Dragon Energy, it does a lot, but it does not do enough, and I will resign the match. Hopping into the final match, leading Corviknight into Zygarde. This is a matchup that is pretty nice for Corviknight now that it can just spam out paybacks. Obviously, Zygarde has improved pacing, so it's only 4 to the crunch. So they will be going for the crunch. Only a 20% chance to get a debuff, but they get it on the first try. Oh, that is devastating. I return fire with the payback. Payback does do some pretty nice damage, but now I'm worried that I might lose the zeros because of that first chance debuff. They go for a second crunch. This one does not get the debuff, but I'm already taking a lot more damage than I typically would. I get to a second payback. It looks like if I can get to a third payback, I can win the zeros, because the Zygarde is taking a lot of hits. I do not want to shield Corviknight, so I'm just going to let Crunch number 3 land. It gets Corviknight deep into the red. Corviknight gets the payback. Let's go. Even with that first debuff, Corviknight survives, pressures a shield from my opponent, and now I'm just going to go for farm on Regidrago. I didn't end up switch locking anything and going down a shield. We're already learning from the misplays of that previous game. They're Crunch Bulldoze, which is a crazy moveset, as they can't really do any damage neutrally. Unfortunately, I did get Bulldoze debuffed, and now out comes Tentacruel. That Bulldoze debuff is really rough, because normally I'd be taking a lot less damage in this matchup, but now after the acids, even a Scald probably threatens me, because these acids are adding up quite significantly. I'm able to spam out back-to-back Dragon Energies. Dragon Energy is going to be shielded. My opponent can just go safely for Scald. I don't really want to ever no shield and switch, because I don't want to risk being switch locked and debuffed, as that's what cost me that previous game. So I'm just going to end up double shielding. I'm expecting it's going to be Gastrodon in the back. That's a weird looking Gastrodon. It's going to be Oranguru in the back. XL Oranguru. I guess Confusion did get buffed. Oranguru obviously going to be single resisting my Shadow Claws. This is where having Brutal Swing would be nice, but I opted for double nuke just because in the Ultra League, everything is so bulky. My opponent Brutal Swing first. I was expecting them to Trailblaze into Brutal Swing, but since they did it in the reverse order, I can actually hang on and make another Rock Tomb. I have the Dragon Energy, but I have to be mindful of a catch. So I switch, make sure I see the Confusion start, and then I can pick up the knockout with Dragon Energy. It's going to be a race to the charge attack. Back in comes the Tentacruel, but Regidrago gets to the Dragon Energy. We will escape with the win. Man, I was really not expecting to see an Oranguru in the back. I was expecting Gastrodon. Ended up being a lot more stressful of an endgame than expected, but luckily we are still able to win that one. And now some final thoughts on Regidrago, its new adjusted playstyle, the team as a whole, and the new uncharted waters that is this new updated Ultra League meta. First off, Regidrago definitely plays a lot differently. Last season, it was Mono Dragon. It had no coverage. It had the bait move with the Breaking Swipe and the nuke move of Dragon Energy. Obviously, with the rework now with Dragon Breath, losing its damage but gaining more energy, you get to Dragon Energies faster. Breaking Swipe is a guaranteed debuff but is more expensive than Dragon Energy. I think in a format like Ultra, where everything is just so bulky, the fact that you have less fast move pressure than you used to means that Breaking Swipe honestly doesn't feel valuable on Regidrago whatsoever, because even your Dragon Energies plus Dragon Breath are usually not one-shotting things neutrally. So you can't really do what you did in the Great League back in the day, which was just spam out Breaking Swipe debuffs and farm something down in the 2s, like what Regidrago used to do to Shadow Kanto Marowak. But in the Ultra League now with these changes, I do think Regidrago is a bit forced into Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam can be a very fun endgame nuke. It's obviously very feast or famine, because if you're Hyper Beam shielded, you're losing an incredible amount of energy. I do like the consistency at which Regidrago gets to Dragon Energies. That felt very fun to use. Overall, I went 14-6 with the team on stream. These were my last 2 sets of rank 18, rank 19, and rank 20. Ended up hitting rank 21, which is ace, at around 2200 elo. Not one of my higher starting elos. I spent several sets yesterday trying to get footage of Peck Chatot, pairing that with an Ice Fang and Powdon Core, and unsurprisingly, that went quite poorly. So much so that I just scrapped the video idea, so unfortunately, no Peck Chatot content on the HomeSliceHenry channel. Now, as for the actual open Ultra League meta, definitely saw a lot of Corviknights, a lot of Regidragos. I felt like one of the more challenging Pokemon for this team to see was Credilli. I feel like Credilli, if it's obviously able to dodge the Scizors and the Empoleons of the world, I really like how Credilli felt for my opponents, at least. It felt like anytime I saw a Credilli, I was at a pretty significant disadvantage. Credilli's ability to neutralize Corviknight, now that Corviknight no longer runs Iron Head, is a definite plus for Credilli. I wasn't much of a fan of last season's Open Ultra League meta. I did have fun today, though, in my sets, so I'm excited to play more of this Ultra League meta and see how it develops and shapes up throughout the course of the season. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.